My full name is Ernie Davis, and my rank was an able seaman gunner in the Royal Navy. When was I born? March the 18th. Where? In Islington, London.
How old were you when World War II started?
That's 16, something like that, 16.
Were you eager to join the war?
Well, I waited and see. I didn't think you could get in until you was about 18. But I joined the Home Guard when I was about 17, and I remained in that until I joined the Navy when I was 18, and that was 1943.
So in 1943 you joined the Navy, and that's when you were officially into the war.
Yes.
And how did your family feel about that? How did they feel about you joining the Navy?
Well, I was the only one in the family to go in the Navy. My dad, he couldn't go in through ill health. He wanted to go in the Navy. And I had a brother and a sister, which I left. They was both younger than me.
Was your mom happy about you going into the Navy, or was she upset?
Bit of both, bit proud and a little bit upset. When I was to go back off leave, there's always a little tear, so.
Did you want to join the Navy, or did you want to join another branch, or?
No, I wanted to join the Navy because the Navy, you travel about. And I had 2 cousins already in the Navy, so I thought I'd follow suit.
So you volunteered, you weren't drafted?
No, I wasn't drafted.
Could you tell me about your early time in the Navy in 1943 when you joined? What were you immediately sent off? Were you on a ship, or were you on land, or?
No, we went training in Havant, in Portsmouth. I was there for a while, and then I was picked to go in the as a gunner, and I went to Whale Island, which was a famous gunnery school, and I went there for about a couple of months, and I'll become an anti-aircraft gunner.
So you trained, and through your training you became an anti-aircraft gunner in the Navy?
Yeah, I was already in the Navy, and I trained as an air gunner.
And after that, after your training, were you stationed on a ship, or?
No, after that we went into barracks for a little while, and then from the barracks we went up to a place called Gorrick in Scotland, and from there we went aboard the Queen Elizabeth, and it took us about 5 days to get to New York. We was over there to commission lease-lend ships, which the Americans was providing for us, and it took us 5 days. The Queen Elizabeth never had any escort. It used to zigzag across because it was so fast that no U-boats could keep up with it. We was in New York for about a week, and then we was shipped off to Boston, Massachusetts, where the destroyer Escort, these lease-lend destroyers, were being built, and we had to wait for ours to being finished off, and then we commissioned it. We picked him up in the dockyard, and it was a place called Bethlehem and Ingham Dockyard in Boston. And there was one that was built so quick. It was they're all welded jobs, and I think there was about 75 of them. The Americans had some, and we had some. They was built so fast. There was one built in 28 days, from laying the first plate to having it commissioned. The ship was named HMS Cotton. The number was K510, and from Boston we went to I'll remember it in a minute. We went to this place for trials. Oh, God. You went to this place for trials, and then from we was there for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then from there we went to New York for a few days, and then we come back to England, and then we had leave, and then we started our escort duties, which was across the Atlantic Ocean to Gibraltar, from England to Gibraltar and Gibraltar back again, and we done that until they called upon us to go on to Russian convoys after that. Yeah, we used to go from Liverpool to Gibraltar, taking ships, and then another escort would take the ships further on somewhere else, and we would escort another escort back.
Do you remember what ships you were escorting? Were you escorting Royal Navy ships or convoys?
No, it's mostly troops, ammunition, goods, anything. You know, there were sort of depot ships, like, you know, carrying supplies.
After getting goods from England to Gibraltar, you spent time escorting Russian convoys?
Yeah, that was the last few of the war. And I take my hat off and I respect all those that went on Russian convoys before me that had really rough weather. A lot of them got killed, and I do really respect them. And
was there a lot of enemy action in the Russian convoys? Were there U-boats, or
there was it? Yeah, we escorted the convoys to sort out the U-boats mostly. I had a fairly reasonable, safe journey going to Russia. So, you know, I'm not going to say that I'd done this and I'd done that, because I didn't, but I respect those that went before me.
And you were escorting convoys in Russia till the very end of the war, is that the case?
Yes. And I witnessed the last ship to be sunk, the Royal Navy destroyer escort to be sunk.
The last ship?
Yeah, it was called HMS Goodall, and the number was K479. And that was the last one to, and I witnessed that being torpedoed by a U-boat. We was going to bring a convoy back home when she got hit, the Goodall, and there were a few ships that went to take survivors off, those that they could, and till it started to catch fire. The stern was floating, but the forward part had been sunk, and it just went down. There was ships there to pick them up. We couldn't get near enough, and until the deck caught on fire, and then the ships had to vacate, and but they took quite a few survivors off. Done a good job. I think we might have been on our way back when it was peace was declared, or it might have been after that, but I never had a Christmas at home during the war, and I never had a birthday at home. I was always at sea. Sad. We left the ship and we went into barracks, and I went on a couple of mine sweepers just to fill in time before I was finished, you know.
So you were still in the Navy after the war ended? You were doing some more time?
Yeah. Oh yeah, after the war, until till our number come up to be I forget the name of the word now, but you was finished with the Navy then.
After the war, when did you roughly leave the Navy? Was it 1945 or
I think it might have been early 47, 46, 47. Yep.
And after that, did you want to serve in Korea, or were you done?
No, I was finished. I went back into civilian life. I was married and had responsibilities, so that was that. Oh, and the place I was trying to tell you that I forgot was a place called Bermuda. We went on trials there. Beautiful place, lovely island.
And could you tell me a little bit about your life after the war? So you married immediately after the war, or you
Married just before the war finished.
Uh-huh.
And after that I worked on the railway, and I went back to the railway. They kept my job open for me, and I continued there for the next 40 odd years.
Wow.
I retired, was that about when I was 65, and I still carried on working. I was an HGV driver, so I could easily get a job, and I carried on. I actually finished working when I was about 80.
Oh wow.
And now I do collecting for the London Black Taxis, which is a great charity. They're all volunteers. That's what I like about it. There's no top figures, people earning big money at the top, No.
And you were at the 75th anniversary of D-Day.
Yes. That was a fine turnout. We was most welcomed over there, and we was in Caen, and I made quite a fuss of us. Even the little children give you cards thanking you for what you've done and all the rest of it. Some good church services, and they really made us welcome. I was pursuing U-boats in the Channel on D-Day. There was one of our sister ships sunk, HMS Capel. That was a sad day.
So you were not escorting Arctic Russian convoys during the time of D-Day. You were actually in the English Channel during D-Day.
For D-Day, yeah, but before that we was escorting armament, food. We even took planes over there, and we took instructors to teach the Russians how to fly planes. Without these convoys, the war would never have been won. I was in the Channel when the D-Day started. We was there especially for that, to find U-boats, which was doing everything they could to sort of stop or disrupt anything to do with the landings. And we was after them.
Were you able to sink any U-boats during your time there?
Not there, but we've sunk some up in Russia.
Thank you very much for sitting down and talking with me. Thank you very much.
Okay.